Hello, welcome to the stream. So we're now doing an A to B flight. So from Birmingham to Edinburgh. And before we start, obviously, because you know, as I explained before, Patreon members support the channel further. So as part of that benefit, they get a mention and basically at the start of every simulator stream. So in economy, we've got an empty cabin. So that's the first. That's essentially the first tier in the membership. And who's in business? Okay, Living History UK, there's one member, Patreon member in business this evening. So the rest of the seats are empty. There's 50 seats in total and one of them is occupied. So that's how you can support the channel further. So the only person that's occupying that seat, one seat in business class at the moment, is Living History UK. And finally, we have first class. So there's only 12 seats in first class that's available, and Christian is one of them. Thank you ever so much for sitting in first class and supporting the channel by being a Patreon member. So let's get started. So we're going to sort of head over to the gate and see our aircraft. So we're in the Airbus A320 Easyjet livery today at Birmingham Airport. We've got the external power outside ready to connect, and yeah, we should get inside the flight deck and see what happens. Okay, so we're in the flight deck now. Hello WT Clip. So we're doing an A to B flight, no landing requests on this one. We've done some landing requests earlier, so we're doing an A to B flight from Birmingham to Edinburgh. So let's go and get this powered up because we need to get going. There we go. Batteries, APU. Let's get some lights on here so we can see what we're doing. We'll bring the overall panel lights up so that when we turn that off, we'll be able to see crew oxygen on, ADIRS is on, fire test. I'll do that. There we go. APU bleed and smoke test. There we go. So before we go any further, we'll put our flight plan in. So Echo Golf Bravo Bravo to Echo Golf Papa Hotel, which is Birmingham to Edinburgh. We've got the flight number in there. What we're going to do is start. We'll start loading the passengers. So we've got 140 passengers on board today. Just make sure can you fly over Lichfield? I will do when I'm next up in the aircraft, that's for sure. I have got a video on Lichfield actually, Steve, if you want to check out on my profile. Got a video of the cathedral, etc. Okay, so now passengers are boarding. We'll go and load up the fuel. So today's fuel is 6 tons, and that's including our 1 ton extra. So we'll go to our fuel page. Yeah, you have to wait for the passengers to get on. But you can set it up so you don't have to wait, obviously. It's trying to be as realistic as possible. Ignore the fact the gate's miles away from the aircraft. We'll just assume the stairs are attached. Okay, so the fuel's loading up now, and that'll take a little bit of time. So if we have a look at that, so you see the FOB, which is fuel on board. You see that's at 4 tons now, and rising. So that's that figure there. While we're waiting as well, we'll continue loading our flight plan into this machine. To the MacDo computer. So we're going from runway 15 today, and the expected departure is the level 1 Lima. Insert that. So that's that side. Edinburgh. We'll have a look at the expected. What sim is this, and will it work with Windows mixed reality? I'm not too sure what mixed reality is, but this is on Windows. This is PC. It's Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Test results are the most important document for boarding. Yeah, that's true. I've not boarded in 3 years. Okay, so let's have a look at where we. Okay, so the star, so runway 24 and the star is in pip 1 echo. Okay, 24 and in pip 1 echo. Insert. Okay, how much did flight training cost you? So my PPL cost me at the time around £6,500, something like that, 7,000. It will cost you for a private pilot's license anywhere between £8,000 and £10,000 now. So my next steps are the commercial training, so the ATPL exams, which is my next step. I've got my class 1 medical at the end of the month, which if I pass that, then I can then go straight onto the ATPL training, the airline transport license exam training. And that's basically going to cost me around £2,500, 2,600, something like that for the course, plus the exam fees. My local is Birmingham. Oh, fantastic. I'm not too sure, Pritch. I'm not too sure. There's quite a few people that come in and out, but welcome on board, of course. Okay, so that's that in now. Let's have a look at the weather. Okay, we seem to be clear weather on the weather front, surprisingly. So some bad rain, clouds over in Iceland and all the rest of it. It seems clear in the UK in terms of rain, anyway. All the screens look so complicated. How hard is it to pick this up without being a pilot? Well, I'm a private pilot, not a commercial pilot yet. So, and I've managed to pick it up. Yeah, but there's obviously a lot to learn. I still don't know everything, and you constantly learn anyway, even once you've got your licenses. So let's go back to the computer. So we'll have a look at the weather. Get the weather from the airports. So weather request, that's the METAR, and we'll send that. And we'll go back to our menu. So I just thought I had a message over from the ATC. So we should have received the METAR now. So we have a look at that. So that's our METAR information. So we got for Birmingham, we have a wind of 4 knots from 180, and our QNH is 1032. So we'll change that to 1032. Change it twice and 3 times down here, which I'll back up just in case the main artificial horizon packs up. Okay, so that's our QNH. So we got minus 1 It is in Birmingham at the moment, so we'll have to remember to put the icing on. Okay, let's turn the lights up over here. Turn these lights on. There we go. Got accepted into college today with my interview today. That's what I've been. Quiet again, plus exams. Oh, well, congratulations, Elizabeth. What's the flight duration tonight? So flight time is actually 45 minutes to Edinburgh. I think the overall flight will take us about an hour, I think. Let's go and print that off so that we've got it in preparation for Edinburgh. So wait for that to print off and we'll rip it. There we go. So we've got that in the center console for when we need it. Let's go and have a look at the rest of the data. So our 6 tons of fuel has been loaded on board. Let's have a look at the weight and balance. So 108 passengers out of the 140. It's not, it's got something called Track IR. Joshua, yeah, it's fly-by-wire A320. Welcome to the stream again. So while we're boarding, just make sure that I can see if there's anything else that we can fill in. No, we can't. So we're just waiting for the last of the passengers to board. Hey John, how you doing? I'm in my seat. Thank you. Oh, not a problem, John. Like you say, it's going to be a little bit of a strange experience not having Jerry as a first officer today. See how much I can remember. Nice. Which one? Experimental. So it's the experimental one. You've got this, John has said. I hope so. It's always a little bit daunting when you lose your wingman, isn't it? So yeah. Right. So we just kind of keep an eye on that loading of the passengers. I'm going to get an update and see what happens. So we've got about 11, we're halfway boarded, 11 minutes left apparently on the boarding. I will see if I'll see if they can expedite the boarding process. Okay, nearly boarding in terms of that. That's fine, because by the time we've finished boarding the actual passengers and they've settled down, we can actually do on weight and balance. Nice Piper Cub there, no avionics. How much of the flight would normally be controlled by the computer versus the pilots? Well, as soon as you hit, is it 6,000 feet or 10,000? It's the transition altitude, isn't it? Then autopilot's usually turned on, but of course the pilot's always controlling the autopilot. So majority of the flight is controlled by autopilot under autopilot. So I have a feeling, again, I'm not too sure because I'm not a commercial rated pilot yet. You're not actually allowed to turn off your autopilot in the cruise, apparently, after a certain speed. Thanks for the likes and shares. Do you have a pre-flight checklist? Yeah, I do. Oh, you don't have enough storage for that. Oh, that's a shame, Joshua. Okay, so we're officially fully boarded on that front. So zero fuel weight, center of gravity is 24.9. So let's just. .9, so it's about 0.9 up. So we'll go back to our computer. So flaps 1.9 up. We'll put our zero fuel weight in. And we'll put our fuel in, which is 6 tons. And we will also put Birmingham back in. Echo Golf Bravo Bravo here. So if we ever need to turn back, we can get there. V1. V2. So we've got 8 minutes left on boarding, so we're doing this in good time. Okay, perfect. So let's just check our departure. So we'll get Avgraph charts. Let's see. We'll load up the sim brief. Okay. We'll do a new flight manual input. Okay, departures. Let's have a look at the charts. Okay. Just make sure that was the right one. Max 250 knots. So climb straight ahead to Bravo Bravo Echo 23, which is that. Turn left to Bravo Bravo Echo 24, which is that one there. And then turn left to Bravo Bravo Echo 25, which is that one there. Okay. Let's go down. Bravo 1111, Bravo 112, and then Lytham. Okay, that all looks correct. Get rid of that flight plan discontinuity and a duplicate. That's fine. So that's going on to flight level 24. Okay, so let's do the pre-startup checklist. So APU master on. APU start. Okay, it's already on. MACD weights are in. MACD takeoff performance. APU bleed is on. Seatbelt signs. And packs as required. What's the cruising altitude for this short flight? It's 24,000 feet, so flight level 240 is the flight level. John, great question. Okay, so we have 3 minutes left before we can start pushback. So pushback and startup. We'll get our doors closed. Cockpit door closed. Fuel pumps on. Beacon on. Steering pin inserted. Transponder auto. TCAS standby, clock, run, parking brake as required. We'll get the parking truck ready.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground, standby.
Check for any currents not wearing a mask. Do you problems downloading this, or did you use this? I just downloaded it, to be honest. It was absolutely fine in terms of the download.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft. Standing by for pushback.
Okay, so we've got 1 minute left. We'll do a general. We'll do a public address. Okay.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We are cleared for start and push. Parking brake set.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Releasing parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Okay, master switch. Start switch to start. Starting engine number 2. Okay, starting engine number 1.
Completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Ground. You may disconnect.
So I'm on
Okay, sir. Clear
IVAO at
to
the moment,
disconnect.
but there's
Pin has been
no...
removed. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Okay, so as soon as engine number 2 has started, sorry, engine number 1 has started, engine number 2 has started, engine number 1. As soon as it's available, we'll get going. Okay, available. Okay, so after start, no selector norm. APU bleed off. APU master switch off. Anti-ice on. Okay, push back and start up, and after start checklist done. Before taxi, auto brake to max. Okay. For some reason that's not it's not liking that. Spoilers armed. Flaps to take off. Engine anti-ice is required. Flight controls checked. Pitch trim. Check. Rudder trim. Check. Steering pin removed. Nose. Taxi. One-way turn off lights. Strobes. Auto. Parking brake off and takeoff config check. Yeah, for some reason the there we go, max is on. Okay, let's taxi to runway 15. Thanks, John, I appreciate that. Safe flight, Craig has said over on TikTok. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate that. So we're just taxiing to runway 15 in Birmingham, and we're on the way to Edinburgh. And just while we're taxiing there, for those that want to support the channel further than what you already are doing by liking, sharing and commenting and subscribing and following, then you can join my Patreon channel or Patreon membership. There's all different tiers, all different benefits. So yeah, so that's the Patreon link. But I do appreciate you watching as it stands at the moment. We are just getting the safety briefing now, Captain. How cool's that? Okay, so we'll hold short of the runway and do our pre-takeoff checklist. There we go, holding short. Okay, before takeoff, cabin crew notified.
Flight attendants, please prepare for takeoff.
Okay, and exterior lights all, landing lights on, takeoff, logo lights on, wing lights on. Okay, that's all good. Nose wheel lights to take off. Anti-ice is required, that's on. Packs are on. TCAS on. Weather radar is on. Wind shear. Weather mode as required, and takeoff memo no blue, and no blue is there, which is good. Okay, ready for takeoff. Captain, we are bored back here. Look, sorry. You can't rush safety checks. We're getting there. We're lined up. Okay, stabilising the engines, 50%. Stabilise, toga. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots. 100 knots. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Climb thrust. Bye Birmingham. Autopilot's engaged. So we should be making a left turn soon. Okay, flap 0. That gear retraction noise is beautiful, I know. It's great, isn't it, Orlando? Let's climb 7,000. Okay, after takeoff, gear retracted, flaps retracted, spoilers, disarm. Thrust to climb, autopilot as required, nose wheel lights off. Runway, turn off lights off. After takeoff complete. You live 2 miles from Edinburgh, oh wow. There we go, so we're coming to 7,000 feet now, and we can go to standard now. We've passed the transition altitude. Climb to flight level 240. Okay, so climb, checklist, barrows, set to standard, set once, set twice, and set 3 times. Anti-ice is required, that's on at the moment. Weather radar as required. Above 10,000 feet, landing lights off. and wing lights off, seatbelt signs as required. We'll turn seatbelt signs off. Wow, look at those views. What's the flight level for the cruise? So it's 240, 24,000 feet is the cruise altitude today. And that's set, so that's what we're climbing up to there, you can see. And interestingly, we got like a 24 knot crosswind, so that's why we're pointing off to the left a little bit. To counteract that. I just got this 777. It's all right. Oh, really? Yeah, I've heard sort of mixed reviews on that 777. Apparently with the characteristics a little bit, but I think I'm fully invested in the Airbus at the moment. Yeah, a bit buggy. Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews, but I think with a lot of these software. The sort of add-ons and stuff, they just improve over time. It does take time. I'm looking forward to the PMDG 737 when that comes out. That will definitely be on the purchase list. I can't wait for that. PMDG has always been fantastic at modelled simulators, haven't they, with all the different other simulators out there like X-Plane and FSX, etc. Study level. I just hope it doesn't take too much out of the CPU and all the rest of it. Isn't there an A380 supposed to be coming by fly-by-wire? Yeah, the A380 is supposed to be coming in June apparently. They originally said that it was going to be released around Christmas time, but they're now the same. Oh no, sorry, the Christmas time was the PMDG. Yeah, the A380 is going to be June apparently, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fantastic. I love the A380. I love watching it come into land and all the rest of it. Okay, so Tipple, let's have a look at our fuel burn, make sure we're all good. So Tipple, minimum required fuel is 3.1 tons, let's say 3.2 tons. So we've just over Tipple now, and if we look at our tons, we've actually got 5 tons left, so we're doing okay. have you considered taking lessons in rotorcraft? I haven't actually. You mean like helicopter lessons, rotary? I have had one lesson in a Cadbury G2 helicopter before, but unfortunately, I find helicopters just too expensive. If they were the same rate as aircraft to learn, then I'd definitely be doing helicopters. They look great fun, but it's too expensive for me to maintain on the pleasure front. So John has asked over on YouTube, what airline are you going to try and get on with? So I really don't know, to be honest. I'm happy for sort of any airline. I have decided that I do want to go onto jets, not turboprops. So I want to go on either the Airbus A320 would be fantastic. I'd absolutely love that, especially how much time I spent on the simulator on the Airbus A320. But I'd be just as happy to be on 737s, etc. But I certainly want to be ideally short haul sort of either based out of Birmingham, East Midlands, or probably Luton is the next closest for me. So but either way, I'm super excited. I just can't wait to get my medical done now. Natalie in the ghetto. I hope I didn't destroy it too much last night. I don't run a virtual airline on this. I am running IVAO, which is the equivalent of VATSIM. So I'm at climb altitude now, so flight level 240. So I'll let ATC know. Cruise. There we go. Great fun, Natalie. Great fun. Where are you now? I'm confused. So this is just a simulator on a PC. So it's not a real simulator, but I can look around, etc. I can look outside. And so I'm doing a virtual flight essentially from Birmingham to Edinburgh via an Easyjet thing. So yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's very realistic. I've just noticed I'm going off track, so let me see what I can go direct to. Rebel. Direct to Rebel. Hopefully that will sort it out. It seemed to be going off track. That's why you have to monitor these things, IVAO, is this another subscription one for West Coast US? It's free of charge, so a bit like VATSIM, but I find them to be a little bit more on the friendly front, if you get things wrong. So because I'm not IFR rated, instrument rated yet, I find VATSIM a little bit daunting on the IFR front. I'll do VFR on there, but IVAO have been very good, lenient when I made the odd mistake. But when I fly with Jerry, the Airbus A320 pilot in real life, and he's first officer, we tend to go on the VATSIM network because he's more comfortable with the VATSIM. Our real airplane is similar to this sim where there's no steering wheel sort of thing and a stick. Yeah, so just like real life, if I just turn the interior lights on, show you here. So there's this side stick. Now if I do this too much, then it's going to knock the autopilot off, but there's a side stick there like real life, and you've got your throttle quadrant there. So at the moment you see it's got a CL for climb indent. That's just like real life as well. So we'll turn the lights off now. I'm starting to do the training on VATSIM now, and it's pretty daunting. I fly the PA34 at the minute. Oh wow. Yeah, oh, thanks for the gifts, appreciate that, Matt. Thanks for the shares as well. Thanks for tapping that screen over on TikTok. Thanks for liking the stream over on YouTube as well. I do appreciate it. Is it true you have to have 20/20 vision and not to be colorblind in order to fly a plane? So the 20/20 vision, you have to have. I'm not too sure how far you have to have good eyesight with it. Did I just hear the toilet? Yeah. Yeah, it must have been one of the passengers in the back using the toilet. Yeah, so you have to have pretty good eyesight, but you know, you don't have to be perfect eyesight. You know, if you can have glasses and be corrected with that, then that's fine. But in terms of colour blindness, traditionally you can't usually get your commercial license if you are colourblind. You can get your private pilot's license now, but you won't be able to fly at night. This is what I believe. I'm never 100% sure because the rules are always changing. But the reason is because obviously things like red and green, if you can't see the difference between those two colours, then that could be a problem. Hi Sham, how you doing? And Orlando, the interior cabin noise is soothing. I know, it's fantastic, isn't it? Flying to Edinburgh, my home airport, the tower is probably the best part about it. Yeah, the tower's amazing, isn't it? It's a nice clear night actually for flying. Got a layer of cloud there, but good clear night. Yeah, Martin, it sounds great, doesn't it? Hi, Christine East, how you doing? Or Christine Assel, I think. The passenger seatbelt signs are off at the moment, so I can turn them on if I feel there's going to be any turbulence. I didn't know that, Nathan. So the ATC tower isn't owned by Edinburgh, apparently, Edinburgh Airport. That's crazy. Who owns the tower then? Are there any other systems for using the rudder instead of foot pedals? So on the real aircraft, let me just turn the interior lights on. So your rudder pedals, obviously, you know, they control the rudder, but you also have this tiller here, and that controls your steering for sharper turns on the ground. So not necessarily rudder control. So your rudders only control your rudder. Rudder pedals control your rudder. That's it. But in terms of steering on the ground, you can actually use this tiller, which will steer you quite steeply around the corners. Flight attendants are passing out snacks right now. Would you like some food, Captain? That'd be fantastic. Actually, it would be interesting to see whether the cabin will pass us a drink. No, the world for me is certainly round. I only ask as I can't use foot pedals, but I can drive using hand controls. Okay. Yeah. So. What I would say, Matt, so if you, obviously you don't have to answer this, but you've obviously haven't got the use of your legs, essentially, in real life. If so, basically, there's a charity called Aerobility, which have been set up to allow people like yourself to learn to fly. So, get through sort of, like you don't have to then use your pedals. You don't have to use your legs for the rudder pedals. There's devices that they can attach. I don't think that's been extended to commercial flying just yet. I'm really not too sure. I'm not fully up on it. But what I would say is that definitely, I am a real pilot, a private pilot, not commercial though. So I'm training to be a commercial as of next month. Yeah, so Matt, honestly, please do look it up, Aerobility. I've got a friend who's got disabilities, and he's got his full pilot's license. He really struggles to walk, etc. But he can fly a plane and land it. So yeah. And Orlando said, I know that there has been research for helicopter control systems. Have you flown to Edinburgh? Sorry to have interrupted you. Not a problem. So in real life, I looked up to see how much it would cost to land at Edinburgh, but it was a fortune. So it was around £1,000 to land at Edinburgh Airport. I spoke to the air traffic controller during the COVID, sort of lockdowns and stuff. It didn't have much on, he said it's just not worth it. So the plan is actually this year is to go and land at Glasgow. I'm going to fly over Edinburgh, fly over the Edinburgh Castle, because the air traffic control said they'd let me overhead fine with a zone transit, so they were happy for me to do that. But then land at Glasgow, stay over with some friends there. And then the plan is to then fly from Glasgow to Northern Ireland, and then I'll probably take a trip back over the water via Isle of Man, back to England or something like that. Not too sure yet with the exact route. Why does it cost a lot of money to land a plane? Who pays for it? So basically, there's things called there's a landing fee and there's a handling fee. So what these big airports make you do is have handlers, and those handlers cost a fortune. They're private companies, and what that means is that if you have a problem on the runway or you break down, they can get you off quickly. And it's not going to stop operations for big aircraft. But realistically, it does keep you. It does keep the small aircraft out of big airports like that, and there's probably a reason for that. They don't particularly want somebody coming in at 90 knots, on final approach when you've got a big aircraft doing 130 knots behind them, and you're delaying stuff. So they probably don't want GA aircraft there, general aviation aircraft there, to be honest. But even the private jets, they tend to land at Glasgow. So they drop their passengers off at Glasgow, and they get a car journey in because it is cheaper apparently. So especially for overnight. So Glasgow would charge around £80. £80. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Sham. I appreciate that. Another fact about Edinburgh Airport. Go on in, Nathan. Airport fees are why people like Ryanair use regional airports and not Heathrow. That is correct. Yeah, that's why they can keep the cost down and all the rest of it. Let's turn that dome light off. There we go. Yeah, it's crazy. Glasgow's a lot more affordable. I mean, £80 is still a lot of money in GA terms. I mean, general aviation terms. So local airports like Leicester, the one near Silverstone Racecourse, and like things like Duxford, they'll cost you generally around £15 to £20 landing fee at the airport. So because what you got to think for general aviation pilots like myself, flying PA-28 Cessnas, etc., you've already got an hourly rate of £150 on average. So you whack £80 on top of that, it's a very expensive day out. It's already expensive, but it's a very expensive day out then. So something like sort of £15 doesn't, it isn't as bad. You can actually get away with that. You don't feel like you've robbed the bank, but when there's three of you in an aircraft sharing the fuel, and you can bring it down to something like 50 quid each or something like that. If you're all in the aircraft sharing the flight for sharing the aircraft for an hour. And it's just, I mean, that's probably comparable to sort of some hobbies, like go-karting or whatever. That costs you £50 for 20 minutes in most places. They used to tell Ryanair they could only land with autopilot because they damaged the runway. I don't believe that. They blow my ears out every night, Nathan, so it wouldn't shock me. I mean, Ryanair do get a bad rap, but I do know some really good Ryanair pilots. They're not all bad. Let's have another fuel check anyway, and let's just see where we are. Okay, so we should start descending now. Thanks for the chat, guys, but that's me going back to work. Have a good one. Oh, well, thanks obviously joining the live stream as it is. I do appreciate it. For those that are watching over on YouTube, probably on your TVs actually, hello. So I know generally on YouTube there's a lot of people just put it on the TVs and enjoy. Thank you for the gifts. I do appreciate that, Matty. Very, very appreciate it. Okay, so let's just enter the destination data. Say QNH 1013. Sorry, 1030, sorry. Temperature 05. So it's actually warmer in Edinburgh than it is than it is in Birmingham. I'm expediting my descent. Okay, let's go and get the charts up for runway 24. Runway 24. And star is in pip, sorry. This is so relaxing. It's I feel like I've left it a little bit too late. So runway is 24. Okay, so let's have a look at the ILS. Okay, so 3,000 feet. And Cat 1 is 300. The wind 170.04 knots. Okay, we've got a few clouds here. Yeah, north warmer than the south tonight for a change. I know it's crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Let's just have a look at this. I think we'll have to vector ourselves out because we've got no ATC tonight. Okay, turning right 050. Okay, so basically, there are a lot of things, obviously, you know, a lot of controls, etc. But they all do a certain thing. So let's just we need to change our QNH settings. So QNH was 1030. 1030, set once, set twice, and set 3 times. There we go. So what I'm doing now is vectoring ourselves out to come back in. I'll just turn that. Yeah, so we're essentially downwind of the airport at the moment. And then what I'm going to do is once we're at a decent height, which we are now, then I'll start turning us back towards the airport, and then we can land essentially. So we'll set the approach phase. We'll turn the landing system on. Ready. We can start making our turn towards the runway. .240. Okay, 240 set. So the aircraft's turning around nicely. Can't see a thing at the moment. Okay, so we're under 10,000 feet, landing lights on. Seatbelt signs on. Wing lights on. Anti-ice is required. TCAS BLW for below. I think we've might have missed our chance here. Let's turn heading to be vectored round manually. So hopefully we'll turn ourselves onto runway heading soon. It's always difficult with that ATC. Okay, turn ahead in 240. We'll make it 26. So we can intercept it. Okay, well we can't see anything out of anything out the window, but we'll just wait for the ILS to be captured. I'm looking forward to the PMDG 737 and me. Yeah, I can't wait. Let's have a look at missed approach, climb 3,000 feet. Okay, this is definitely missed. Okay, we'll vector ourselves back around again. Ah, man. Okay, so I'll just let the cabin know. You're always delayed. I know. Yeah, it's the drag of the landing gear in the air. Yeah. I'm going to bring it down to 2,500 feet. So I'm capture the glide path. Let's have a look at the. Let's have a look at this. So it said 3,000 feet, distance of 9 nautical miles.
2,500.
I think that's the problem. We weren't 9 nautical miles away. So we'll bring ourselves back round. Oh, you work at BHX, I know. Oh, wow. Shout out for Birmingham, yeah. Hi to Birmingham. How was it that autopilot missed the approach? So, great question, John. This is what I think happened. I had the altitude at 3,000 feet, so which is what the ILS said that the intercepting height is, but you have to be 9 nautical miles away. And I think I was bit closer. I think I was more like 5 or 6. So therefore I'd missed that ILS interception. So I've set my altitude to 2,500. Birmingham loves you, just not Flyby. Yeah, and I think that's what happened. I basically missed the glide slope, so that's how that's how the autopilot missed it. So I'm at 2,500 feet now. The gear's down. Let's have a look at the. Okay, so I'm going to start turning back towards the runway. Yeah, my air brake was up. I did notice that. I brought it down. It was when I was trying to make the runway from the height, essentially. Okay, let's try this again then. Well, there's the runway. Okay. Okay, Alt Star, so it's locking in. There's the runway ahead. So I had a bit of a missed approach. Okay, so lock star and glide slope is locked in. Okay, so it's now working. We'll activate autopilot 2 as a backup. Okay, we're now descending. Fine, established. Yes, sim pilot using track IR, and we'll let the cabin know.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
Full flaps.
1,000.
Don't forget to pay your landing fee, I know. Oh my word. Yeah. Welcome to Edinburgh. Autopilot off.
500. 400. 300. 100 above. Minimum 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Reverse thrust. Welcome to Edinburgh. Okay, landing lights off. Taxi lights on. Runway turn off lights on. Thank you very much. So welcome to Edinburgh Airport. Do some cleanup while we're here. Thank you for the gifts, thanks for the shares, thanks for the likes, thanks for the follows, thanks for the subscribes. For those that want to support the channel further, you can do by joining my Patreon. You'll get extra privileges for that, behind the scenes content, etc. It's fairly new, so it's going to take a bit of time for it to be populated on there. There's a few already, some posts on there, like my actual spec of my PC and a bit about my Class 1 medical that I'm attending at the end of the month, etc. And on top of that, you do get mentioned at the start of each Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. That's all of you. For first class members, you get verbally mentioned. There's only 12 that are allowed. So yeah, so welcome to Edinburgh. Let's get back in the cockpit. Edinburgh Tower is impressive, isn't it? Let's go and take this gate here. Oh, we got a man, got a marshal. Okay. Okay, well, he didn't seem to be wanting me to stop there, but there we go. Okay, APU on. Wait for that to start up before. I should have done that after I landed. Thanks, John. Very rough and ready. You can tell I didn't have Jerry by my side. He'd have put me right, but we got there safely. Bit of a delay, but we got there. Yeah, we were on time after sort of mentioned that there was going to be a 10-minute delay, but yeah, it wasn't too bad after all, was it? Okay, just wait for this APU to start. We can turn the engines off, but we can put our parking brake on. Okay, it's available. APU bleed. Okay, engine. Turn the lights on. Engine 2 off. Engine 1 off. And seatbelt signs off. And they can start to get ready to come off. Yeah, how strange. So there we go. We have accomplished the flight from Birmingham to Edinburgh. Thanks for. Can you walk inside the airport? We can give it a go. Why not? So that's the flight finished anyway. We can have a look at the. Let's have a look at this drone. Whoops. Okay, so this is Edinburgh Airport. And that's our plane. What? I can't believe we're actually in Edinburgh Airport here. There we go. So if we can imagine we're a passenger looking out there, waiting for the next flight. There we go. How cool is that? How cool is that? Oh my god, where is there? It's Edinburgh Airport. We've even got like Coke Zero. We've got our departure times. Are we on there? Heathrow cancelled. Yeah, crazy. Crazy. So let's go and have a look through the airport even further. Carry-on baggage policies, ATM machines. Where's the bar? I don't know. I'll tell you one thing though, we ought to have a look at the tower. Let's go and have a look at the tower. It's the here's the tower for Edinburgh Airport. How cool is that? Yeah. I don't even know where our aircraft. That's brilliant. I know it's crazy, isn't it? There's the airport terminal. Our plane is somewhere. Good night, John. Thanks for joining the stream. I do appreciate it. I should be back for another one at some point soon. Okay, so we go back to our initial view. I think there's some default views. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining the stream, and I'll see you sometime soon. This is Fly UK.